what this is, again, is the Canon 50mm L series lens. I'll let you check it out there. It's a prime lens, obviously with the 1.2L. And let me move it and have to refocus here. Every time I move, I have to focus. That's the 5D method here. But again, this is the beast of a lens. There we go. Okay, so you can see that it is pretty big. Made in Japan, of course. It has 72 millimeter front glass, so that's the filter size you need to buy. Manual focus. You can focus this while the camera is off, which is different than the 85 millimeter L 1.2 lens. It has the standard autofocus, manual focus settings, and the more information up front here. What I found is that, look how big that glass is. It's pretty amazing. You have to be careful with this back area. I think the 85 1.2 is worse, but it's more shallow than some of the other Canon lenses, so you just want to make sure you're careful and not scratch any of the glass back here. That is a huge surface area. The reason I bought this one instead of the 85 is that I like the range better with the 5D and it being a full frame camera. I think the 50mm is just a great everyday use lens, great for portraiture, great for outdoor things, and more so portraiture indoors. The 85 can be a little long in my experience. That range can be long. One allegedly focuses faster than the 85. So I think this is an awesome lens. I'm very happy that I bought it. If you're familiar with Canon and you keep up with the forums and all those things, you'll know that the 50mm 1.2L has kind of a bad rap about it. People think it's not a very good lens. It has back focusing issues. I still haven't had any real issues with focusing and quality. I'm going to say that you have to know how to use the lens with the 1.2 and just how it's going to have you, the part in, if you're at 1.2 or really less than 2, the window of focus is so small that there's no room for error. So you just have to know how to use it. It takes a lot of practice and be patient with it. I had other experiences with the 1.8 lens before I got this one, so I kind of knew what I was getting. But if you're brand new to a lens that's less than 2.0, be patient. I mean, you may have a hard time. So what I like about this is it is great to play around at night with this thing outside. Just the 1.2 ability and the Canon high ISO settings. It's really cool to take pictures of nighttime things, stars, whatever. You are going to have an issue with finding focus in the first place. I mean, if there's no light, you need to have the ability to focus on something. So that's a challenge. What I found is that this is slower to focus than my, for example, 24 to 105. I tend to have to use the center point more often to find quick, accurate focus. Using the computer defined autofocus setting on the camera is not always accurate. It finds focus, but it's not necessarily the focus point that I want. So you have to tell it what you want it to do. So you tell it what to focus on. Again, if you're shooting at that fine window of focus, you have to tell it what you want. So I am finding myself using the manually selected focus point more often, usually the center or the top focus area if you're tilting the camera sideways or vertically. So I guess expectation wise on the I'm not going to call it negative, but not as ideal side is that it's a little slower to focus than the 105, 24 to 105, or the 17 to 40, and it is more manually intensive, so manual focus, manual selection of the autofocus point. Those are kind of my downsides. They aren't bad. I mean, it's just not the same as some of the other Canon lenses. And what I've read is that, I mean, if you feel how heavy this thing is, and you look how big the glass is and whatnot, I mean, it's a lot of power to move, a lot of glass to move. So that's why you may have some slower focusing abilities with this one. The other thing I found is that if you're doing any kind of self-portraits or timer-based portraits where you have to have the computer choose the focus point for you, it's not going to be 100% accurate. It's usually pretty accurate. If you shoot 10, you might get 2 that don't have the focus point that you really wanted. Again, that's in that scenario, I would probably use manual focus in advance, and just leave it that way. So that's kind of the downsides of what I found so far. But on the plus side, the positives, this is my best Canon lens I have, and I do have multiple other L series lenses. I guess the one that would be close to it is I have the older 70 to 200 2.8 IS-L lens. It's an entirely different lens, zoom and all that stuff, but quality-wise, picture quality-wise, very close. Probably, I'm leaning towards this one right now because this is the one I've used more lately, but they're pretty similar in picture quality. So people talk about focusing issues. They talk about, the back focus, and not a great lens, that kind of stuff. But I'm going to say that the color reproduction, the image quality out of this lens is absolutely spectacular. Just the colors produced by this lens are just amazing. And that's what you really want, right? I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, you may have, you shoot 10 pictures and 2 of them are at the right focus point, but the 8 that you got have amazing color reproduction and sharpness. So that's why I love this lens. I've taken some portrait shots and they're just amazing. Again, color is top notch. The sharpness is also just amazing. I didn't tell you earlier, but I have a filter in front of this. It's a Rodenstock HR Digital E72. It was recommended to me. It's very thin. Supposed to be high quality. I don't have a lot of experience with it, but it is so far very nice. So the reason why I like the lens again is the color reproduction and the sharpness, and just the overall versatility. It's relatively compact when you have it attached to the camera body. Easy to carry around. It has this cool lens cover that comes with it. Still, it's not too obtrusive at all. And I'm going to say that I still love this lens, and I'm going to say that if you have the ability to test one out locally, you should. And just to make sure that you understand what you're getting and all those things. And I'm also going to say be patient with it. And it takes some practice to get used to the fine focus on it, the thin focus. If you have any questions, let me know. So far, high recommendation from me. Thanks.